Well, good evening. This is Gina Tadella, and tonight is part 2 of using the Shepherd's Care stamp set. And this is a stamp set I got from Cindy Fodor for her event that she was doing a fundraiser to raise funds for remodeling her son's bathroom, who is handicapped. Anyways, so tonight I'm going to show you 2 more cards, and then I'll bring in the other 2 to show what I've done on Wednesday in case anybody has not seen that. Okay, so first off, I'll give you the measurements. And this is done with that nice embossing folder, which is called the, where is it? Forever Plaid. And I'll bring it up close. This stuff was already done, otherwise I would be able to demonstrate it, but she already sent the stuff pre-done. So, and that is using a piece of the basic gray cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And this is for the inside of the card, which is 4 by 5 1/4. So when you emboss it, you see how much shrinks up. See that? So just wanted to show you that. Let me move this other stuff out of the way. And of course, this is Blackberry Bliss, and this is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. And we're going to go ahead and fold this in half. And get my bone folder handy. I thought I had the trash can over here, but I didn't. Okay. And this is that beautiful blackberry ribbon with the gold foil trim. I'll bring it up close so you can see that. And so this measurement is just a piece of scrap because we're going to stamp it and then cut it out. And it's like 2 1/8 by 4 1/4. And then this was done with the Peaceful Season dies. And let me put it on the gray so you can really see that. I love the indentation. And that's the one we're going to stamp the Peace on Earth with. Now she used basic gray, but I'm going to use the Blackberry Bliss. Okay. And since that stamp is bigger than the pad, I always bring the stamp pad to the stamped image. Okay. And she just, I think I would use a 2 1/4, not a 2 1/8. Oh, I guess it does fit. Okay. But that's how that looks. Isn't that pretty? Okay. We'll move that out of the way. We're going to ink up the Peace on Earth. Gently stamp that. There we go. And then we're going to close this pad back up. And move that stamp over there. Okay. So let's go back to the card itself. So I'm going to place, I'm going to place that like that on there. She folded it, but folding it will make it a little bulky. So we're just going to do it that way. So on the back of this, I'm going to put a piece of tear tape. I didn't bring it in here. I thought I did. Nope, I didn't. That's okay. I'll use a piece of this Scotch tape. Alright. I want the gold foil to show, so this is what I'm going to do. Fold that over, since I don't have my tear tape. So you can use Scotch tape. And then we're just going to mount that. Of course it's going to... Maybe I need to put it on the back of the thing first. There we go. Okay. So I want to hold it, so definitely you want to use tear tape. But I'm going to put another piece over the top of that. That'll hold it in place. Just have to cut it. Or tear it, because it's too wide. There we go. I'll put that to the side. Okay, so this should be dry. I'm going to double check it. So I don't want to smear the ink when I have to cut it out. Let me slide down here. Hello, Betty. How are you? So I need to get my paper snips. This is when the glasses come off. And you're just going to go in and out around the design and cut around it. You don't have to be real close. This one did not come with any dies. It's just the regular stamp set by itself. But it is an easy cut. It is a distinctive stamp set. That means it shows definition and depth in the image. So there's no work to it. Don't have to do any coloring or anything. And as I go in and around, not going real close, you can see that. And we're almost halfway through. And I said she already had sent the image on the gray embossed already, so hope everyone had a wonderful day today. Going around that little sheep, that little limb. Oh my goodness. Just to give you a heads up, next week Stampin' Up! Is offering free shipping on $75 or more order for 3 days between the 9th and the 11th of December. So if there's any supplies that you got to replenish or anything on your wish list that was from the mini or the annual catalog, be sure to check that out. Oh, I'm sorry, Betty. I hope that gets taken care of, honey. I know back, you feel it all over when you're having those issues, that's for sure. Hello, Linda. How are you, my dear? Thank you, ladies, for joining in while I'm doing this live. And thank all of y'all that will be coming on and watching the replay. All right, almost done with the cutting. There we go. So you see, you don't have to do it real close. And it is an easy cutting. All right, let me put my glasses back on. Okay, so what we're going to do is mount this on the basic gray that's embossed. And we're going to, you can use dimensionals, but I'm just going to use the Tombow multi-purpose glue. I almost got too much. Spread it out evenly. just going to mount it right there. There we go. I'm going to just press down on it a little bit more. Now on this one here, go ahead and put some glue on here. And mount that. Peace on earth. I've almost put it in the wrong place, because I want to put that star. I gotta trim that bow up. And it needs a little bit of something, so I've got this Scotch tape. I want it to lay flat. There we go. But I don't want it to show. Let me tuck it up underneath. There we go. Okay, so that way it's flat. And then I had this star that I wanted to use up here. I'm going to use my Tecu Pick tool to pick it up, as I trimmed my nails last weekend. There we go. It's a wonderful tool. If you don't have that, I recommend it for picking up small things. So there's that, and now we're just going to glue it onto the card. Now I think, she didn't do that, but I think I'm going to use this piece so it really comes out, and then I can cut me another piece. Yes, I think I'm going to do that. I like that better. I'm just adding the glue around the edges. Don't get too close to the outside, and don't overdo it, because it does seep out. It's a rude awakening. And I'm just going to center that on the card base. And smooth that around. Now I'm going to add it. Whenever you have anything that's embossed, you do need to use a liquid adhesive or tear tape, which is a dry adhesive. Your regular type of dispenser will not keep the embossing image down. It will raise back up. So that's why the Tombow multi-purpose glue does a wonderful job. And you just want to hold that in place just for a few minutes. And then we got to trim that ribbon on the bottom edge. I'll bring in my handy dandy scissors. I think I'm bringing it, there we go, so it's not covering the lamb's face. Oops, dropped that piece of ribbon over the back side. And now it's stuck to my finger. So there is that one. Okay, so let's go to card number 2. So card number 2 is using the sentiment, which is this one. And then we're going to stamp this in crushed curry. You can also use lemon lolly. You can use wild wheat, but I chose to use crushed curry. So let me get the supplies out for that one. And this is Blueberry Bushel. It's one of our end colors. Don't want to lose that jewel that she sent with it. So she sent me all the supplies. Isn't that ribbon just beautiful? Okay, so she already die cut, she already embossed, so I won't be doing any of that. But I have the supplies that she used, so any of y'all want to know what they were, let me know, because I can just send you a picture in the messaging. So, because these were designed by Cindy Folder. Let me move the ribbon scissors out of the way. I will not need those. So this piece is for the inside, and the rest of this is for the front side. This is a tri-fold card, so it is 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4 and what's the other one? 4 1/4 and 6 7/8. Now what I usually do is I'll score at 4 1/4, turn this around and score at 2 1/8. Make it easy on you. She scored them both in the same direction, but this is how the card's going to look. You're going to fold it this way, and then this comes back like this. So it opens like that. Okay? Let me get my bone folder so I can make smooth folds. Now you can glue this down, but it's not necessary. But it's based on each person, so whatever. Me personally, I would like to have it like this when I open it. But some people do glue it down, so it depends on each individual. I do with that glue, however, before this gets dried and I can't use it. So the first thing we're going to do is mount the pieces. So this embossed piece goes down here at the bottom. But before you do that, you want to wrap this ribbon around it. And see how it's curling up? You always want to flip that over. Okay? So let's get that mounted on the back. Normally I use tear tape, but I forgot it tonight. I have it left in the other room. So I'm just going to use Scotch tape. We all have Scotch tape at home anyway, so. I'm going to just tear off one piece at a time. Don't need much. Just enough to fold this over and hold it down in place. You never want to use wet glue on ribbon. That's a big mess. So I'm going to fold this over and mount this side. Just like that. Okay? Now this is ready to be mounted here. So we're going to go ahead and mount that, and we're going to use our Tombow multi-purpose glue. Thank you, ladies. Yeah, I think it needed that white to bring out on this one here, because I can always cut another white piece. I agree. And she had stamped the shepherd in gray and the sentiment in gray, and I just thought it needed Blackberry Bliss, since the main color of the card was blackberry. Okay, so I've added that. So, I'm sure, let's see what the measurement of this is. This is a 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. And it's mounted on this white piece. And whenever you're not sure if you can get it straight or not, use your edge. There we go. I'm just going to hold this down just for a moment. Okay. And then this image goes here. And center it best as possible. And so this nice jewel is going to go self-adhesive. And I'm going to put it right dead center. She had it over to the side, but I'm putting it in the center. This will require extra postage if you're mailing it. So, alright, so let's ink up the image and stamp it. Well, we can go ahead and mount this piece. Yeah, we could. Let's go ahead and do that first. We'll add the wet glue to the back. And just put a little bit in the center. Then we'll go ahead and mount that right onto, and she used raw wheat, or you can use crushed curry. Now what's important on this card here, you only want to put the adhesive only on this side. And don't go all the way halfway. I just do just this amount. And then it's centered where it has a blue edge. There we go. And then this piece will go on the inside. But let's go ahead and stamp our image. And that way, when it's drying, we can go back and do the other. So we're using blueberry bushel, and I'm using crushed curry. So I want to stamp the yellow first. Perfect. And this is going straight in the center. And then we're going to use the blueberry bushel. And whenever you ink up your stamps, you always want to just pad the ink pad. Gently pat the pad. It's a tongue twister. Haven't used ink on this. Wonderful. So there we go. We're going to center that best as possible. Go straight down. And I usually count to 5. There we go. And then I'm not sure if I have that straight, so when you're not sure, let me try this on the other side.
I'm not interested, thank you.
I did better on that side. So, good thing we have 2 sides of the paper. Okay. Okay. So, as that's drying, and it's going to go right there. Okay. While that's drying, we'll go ahead and mount this white piece. And this is 4 by 5 1/4. And it has a blue edge all the way around. So when this card's closed, you don't see that white edge. See that? That's important. And we'll go ahead and add the glue on the sentiment that we just stamped. and mount that. And there's that card. So that's how it looks. So I hope you enjoyed these two. And then if you didn't get to see the ones I did on Wednesday night, here is, oops, here is that one. And then the sympathy with the tree embossing, 3D tree embossing folder. So hope you enjoyed this. Have a wonderful weekend. And thanks for joining. I'll check with you back on Monday at 7 p.m. or you can watch the replays. Take care. Oh, Betty, you asked a question. I buy re-inkers. The only time I ever have to change them is when they discolor. They will show a funky discoloring, and then I just toss them and I'll order another one. Good question. But I'll write it in your reply, too, so that way in case you've already gotten off. But thank you, ladies.